steals per game. Quinerly can get into the smallest of windows in the lane and score in traffic.
Big 12 regular season title still up for grabs. Top 20 hoops for Morgantown, with Kansas State touching it first. And right into Serena Sundell.
That's her spot, that mid-range game, and she can fire over the top of a smaller backcourt of West Virginia.
Sundell, the leading scorer at 14 points per game for Kansas State. And the leader for West Virginia, J.J. Quinerly, pops out a three. And of course, make and miss, always important. That's how you win the game, but especially for West Virginia and how they press you off the makes.
Yeah, that's no question. The defense for Kansas State will help their offense and handling that press.
And Kaya Watson pulls in the miss from Poindexter. And here comes West Virginia with their pace on a corner three. Back-to-back misses for Shaw and Quinerly. This is going down with the Wildcats. So Jeff Mittie is in the middle of a historic run for Kansas State. They're a few wins away, Elise, from the best two-year run in Kansas State history.
Well, and you just can't wait for Ayoka Lee to get back, because she is a presence at 6'6", and there's the pressure.
It's Quinerly, 3 steals per game, converting it into points for the first time.
Well, that's when this crowd really gets fired up. Number 2 in the nation, 25 forced trios a game.
And Ziana Walker, she can hit you quick too. It's not just a one-way pace today.
Well, it's high risk, high reward for West Virginia's pressure defense. And you're going to get takeaways, and then you're going to give up some pretty high percentage looks.
And kicked ball, Sundell had the on-ball defense on Quinerly. So these head coaches have something in common. Both former Division II head coaches that have elevated their programs in the Big 12, year 2 for Mark Kellogg.
As you said, it's time for the gauntlet here.
And a three goes for Sydney Shaw.
Yeah, Sydney Shaw, one of the best three-point shooters for the Mountaineers. You have got to extend to her.
And something Mark Kellogg pointed out to us yesterday, they've got to keep this game close from 3. Kansas State, the 3rd best three-point shooting team in the country. And Sundell short on her second try. And West Virginia made in the image of their 2 lead guards, Harrison and Quinerly, as Watson throws it into Blackston and turns it over.
Boy, Watson had a crease. She had the straight line drive and turned around.
In tight, Kansas State running with Kennedy Taylor.
Good job running the floor from your big.
Almost rim run for rim run. Blackston got it away to Quinerly, who was so quick and got all the way there, everything but the finish, but they'll keep it. On the baseline for West Virginia.
Well, they spread you out. One of the best in the nation in passing the basketball, and if you run, you will be rewarded. And if you're a post player and you're going to work really hard, you want to get that ball and be rewarded and get that easy deuce.
Well, one thing Kansas State has done a little bit without Ayoka Lee, played a little bit faster on offense. And Jordan Harrison, quick step into the lane, gave it up. It's tied up, and the arrow keeps it with the Mountaineers.
Kansas State beating TCU without Ayoka Lee a short time ago, but Coach Mittie saying he's excited that Ayoka will be back. She's missed the last 7 games in a row, 8 including today, but is scheduled to play against Kansas on the 22nd.
A deflection leads to a steal. Poindexter and Glenn combined for the second turnover for West Virginia. 3, Poindexter can get him up from anywhere.
Boy, that is Kansas State. Spread you out. How about 42% from deep for Poindexter, and she's got range.
Well, same thing as last trip down. Glenn a deflection and a steal for Poindexter. And it's not a one-person show from three-point range for Kansas State. They have 3 or 4 players that can hit a 3. Here's Poindexter inside and outside. Almost went off one leg.
That touched the net. That was inside the bucket and popped out.
Harrison scoops it.
Jordan Harrison, just 5'6", but she and Quinerly can get into the lane and find the creases. They go to the foul line. that personal foul.
Taryn Sides checks in for the first time. More three-point shooting. It comes from everywhere for Kansas State.
Well, as soon as she checks in, she averaged double figures off the bench. One of the leaders in the Big 12 coming off that bench, and you better know where she's at. She had 6 made threes in the last game for the Wildcats.
Quinerly chucks it up and knocks it down.
And that's good for Quinerly's confidence, shooting just 30% from deep. She was over 34% last year. She's had some pop out, and she's talked about it. She's got to make those deep ones.
Maupin denied. Blackston got it. Maupin stays with it. A third try will not come. Shaw with the basketball for West Virginia. Well, we welcome those of you in West Virginia and Kansas that were just watching that game that went to overtime. West Virginia and Kansas State, top 20 game, with both teams still live for a Big 12 title. West Virginia doing what they do best. A steal to a layup for Harrison.
I love that play from Shaw, getting to the basketball and then just tossing it ahead to Harrison.
Great way to say hi to our new audience. Elise Woodward, Connor Onion, by the way. Our entire crew with you here in Morgantown, West Virginia, on what's going to be a fascinating game with Kansas State's three-point shooting and West Virginia's great defense. It's a 7-0 West Virginia run. Late in the shot clock, Sundell gets it up. Can't hit. Did it graze the rim? They say yes, and a putback for Maupin.
Good job tracking that ball. That's a tough rebound because it did not hit that rim, or if it did, it just glanced it.
Harrison lines it up and drills a three.
West Virginia at home. Those rims look kind to the Mountaineers today, and watch out.
McGlenn into trouble. West Virginia with another turnover. 4th of the game for K-State. Quinerly with the scoop.
She is so electric.
Transition 3, no answer. Poindexter couldn't get there.
You couldn't hear a whistle right now if they had blown it on that missed shot. The crowd getting after it after West Virginia, a 12-2 run.
The players are looking around like, is there a foul? And that almost got him going again. This great crowd in Morgantown. The lead swells for West Virginia to 6 on a 12-2 run for the Mountaineers. Sides, a lethal three-point shooter, gives it up. Glenn can also knock it down, and she does. They come at you from everywhere, from out deep.
Well, so smart. Sides felt the pressure trying to push her off the three-point line. Quick ball movement, and that led to the wide-open three.
This game has started like one you might expect, where two teams have a chance late in the season to go win the regular season title in the Big 12. Kansas State in a three-way tie for first, with 4 games to go, including today. 3 feet set, Watson, no. And Kansas State runs. Maupin was in the same area as Poindexter when she's the one to finish.
And I think it's a smart play by Maupin, just tossing it. She didn't have her footing. I think she was scared she was going to travel and just scooped it over.
That was like a 6-4-3 double play.
That's exactly right.
It's middle of the diamond. With Kansas State with 4 in a row. Corner pop, 3 is an air ball. Watson hands there, but sides away with it for the Wildcats. Sundell looking for runners, and nobody came with her.
This has been an incredible run with no whistles. These players have to be gassed. We are at the 150 mark, and we have not had the first time out of the quarter. And it has been back and forth action.
It's like you racing in from Westwood. No breaks.
Well, you got players piled up at the scorer's table ready to come in. They're begging for a whistle to get on the court.
Harrison had it partially blocked, and at this rate, we might just play out the whole first quarter without a break. Poindexter, her second hit from out deep.
Oh, and she is fired up, letting out a cry. That was a big-time hit from deep. 5'10" and can do a whole lot of things to help her team out.
So Kansas State has flipped that West Virginia run. It's now 8 in a row for the Wildcats. And there is a whistle. Hey, we don't mind it. This is a free-flowing, catch-your-breath type pace from Morgantown. 1 minute and 4 seconds to go in the first quarter. Lead changes galore. First 9 minutes tell me that we're headed right back to that same spot.
I mean, it's not often that you get exactly what you were expecting and more. That was fast-paced. That was an incredible flurry in the first 9 minutes of action.
Before we went to break, we had 5 straight minutes without a whistle. And into the paint, with subs finally allowed to come into the game, West Virginia gets it into Thomas.
She's a good presence, the true freshman, Carrollton, Texas. Big presence inside the lane for the Mountaineers.
The top 100 player in her recruiting class that Mark Kellogg brought in here to West Virginia. Tearing sides, a lot of space, usually hits those. And Quinerly with the rebound.
You better not leave her open like that very often or you're going to pay. She was 6 for 7 in her last game. She's made 10 threes over her last 2 games.
Well, shot clock is turned off. Quinerly attacks. Thomas blocked. And a second chance with Shaw. Can't hit. One final chance in the quarter for Kansas State. And they won't get one up as Watson jumps it, and the shot will not count. It's a draw.
Made threes in that first quarter.
These teams both played games on Saturday. You wouldn't be able to tell based on the pace and the effort that we saw in the first 10 minutes. Kansas State gets it first to start the second quarter. Both teams had 8-0 runs in the first. A little lefty scoop, no. Offensive rebound and a putback for Sanchez fresh into the game. So one of the players that Kansas State is relying on, Gisela Sanchez, with Ayoka Lee out in the front court. Into Thomas, got it and one.
Yeah, she is so powerful. Established her position early. Look how deep she gets this. She's in the restricted area on the catch, and there's nothing you can do at that point. Tough to get around. She got you sealed, and that's an and one.
At least really a different operation when she's in the game at the 5 compared to Blackston.
Yeah, different type of players. One's power. Blackston can shoot the 3, stretch the defense.
Thomas has powered her way to 5 early points. 3 ties, 5 lead changes already. Just a minute in to this second quarter. Into the short corner for Lester. Got to take a peek at the shot clock. It's down to 5. Corner 3, Sides. Heavy on it. And the tap back almost went.
And Sides is going to get that shot. West Virginia in that 2-3 zone. Hard to go to the cutter in the corner, and Sides was left wide open.
Sides coming off a game where she was 6 of 7 from 3. Quinerly can't connect.
I don't think Quinerly was quite on balance with that 3. You don't mind the shot, but you just want to make sure she's on balance and ready when she takes it.
Feet weren't right.
A little bit off.
So 2 bigs out there for Kansas State. Lester and Sanchez playing together. Those 2 team up to get a close look. No dice though. Glenn in the backcourt. Glenn jumps the pass. Has it right back to the Wildcats. Pull up pop. Walker not here. Quinerly, eyes always on the rim.
And I think that Walker got a piece of that. I think she deflected that shot from Quinerly just enough to leave it off the mark.
Walker was excited for this challenge, seeing Quinerly today. And Sides, cold start.
One thing you know about Sides is she's going to keep shooting. She is a shooter. She's had a couple of good looks. That one was contested. But she can make contested 3s, step back to the left, to the right.
Had a brilliant week in the 2 wins against Cincinnati and UCF, and a heavy dose of Thomas early on.
Well, she's doing an excellent job of using her body and the strength and sealing the defender.
And She has the defense, and right past her, Sanchez sneaks by.
Good aggressive take. Nobody met Sanchez, and if you don't take ball, you're going to go all the way until somebody stops you, and nobody did.
Sanchez coming off a good game. Filled it up, 8 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. And a 30-point win on Saturday. Heavy on it. Out of bounds. Sides, and Kansas State get it back. So 1 star out, 1 star in. Quinerly out, and Sundell in for Kansas State. The 2 leading scorers swapping spots. We welcome our national audience to Morgantown, West Virginia for top 20 hoops in the Big 12. And Diana Walker with the miss. West Virginia will have it back up 1 with Elise Woodward, Connor Onion. Kansas State in a 3-way tie for first place in the Big 12. West Virginia just 2 games back with 4 to play. And with the bump out wide, Harrison draws the foul on Kennedy Taylor.
West Virginia's backcourt, they're little. They're one of the smallest backcourts in the nation, but one of the fastest and most electric. And you see Harrison using that screen, taking the contact, drawing the foul. It's hard to switch a post onto a guard with that much quickness.
This game all about the guard play. In the image of Harrison and J.J. Quinerly, who's on the bench right now. West Virginia, one of the fastest paces you'll see in the Big 12. Down to 2 on the shot clock, and the fling from Harrison leads to a shot clock violation.
Yeah, the West Virginia offense has stalled out the last few possessions, and no Quinerly on the floor. So often when the shot clock ticks down there to 6:54, it's get it in Quinerly's hands. She's getting a breather right now.
Well, West Virginia presses all game long. They are second in the country in turnovers forced per game. If Kansas State can get it down into the half court, they're the best 3-point shooting team in the league. And off a turnover, it's an easy 2 for Woodley.
Reading that perfectly, getting the hand out, deflecting it to herself.
They are always in a lane. They never make you feel comfortable.
There's never an easy pass.
Sundell had to give it up, and Poindexter shows off that sweet stroke again.
I love her 3-point range and her length. I mean, she is 6'2" and filling it up from deep.
So our audience that just joined us got to see the best of both teams in about a 30-second stretch there. Turnover to a bucket for West Virginia, and a 3 for the Wildcats. Into the paint, scramble for it, Taylor and Walker were in, converging for the Wildcats, and that's a foul on Diana Walker. Under 5, and they can get them up from several different players. Poindexter already has 3 of them.
Well, and it spreads your defense out, and for West Virginia, that has been a key. This is what their bread and butter is, getting out, forcing turnovers, shooting through the lane, and then getting layups. And they feed on that, and they're a team that can go on big runs at the snap of a finger. Just when you think you have West Virginia buried, here they come again. And so for Kansas State, they want to try to stay as composed as possible against that pressure.
Jeff Mitty said that his team has a goal of 20 turnovers or less today. 20 would be a season high. It gives you an idea of just how lethal West Virginia is taking the ball away. That the goal is a season high.
Yeah, that's a statement for just how much respect he has for the defense.
At the end of the shot clock, Thomas couldn't hit. That did hit the rim. So another 20 up on the board. And 3 bodies coming at her. Out for a Blackston 3, pulled in by Walker.
And you saw the double team come to Thomas, the adjustment from Kansas State.
And just when you think you have an open lane, Harrison jumps in there, knocks it away.
Every pass, if you throw it with any kind of touch or soft, no, you got to rifle passes against this defense.
Well, defense wasn't set, and Poindexter
rushed it.
Yeah, had one she usually hits.
Yeah, she rushed it. She thought she had to get that before the defense got to her and just left her fingers too early.
Another influence of the pressure, right?
Absolutely.
Always got to work fast, and in tight Woodley, no. Ball volleyballed, and Watson away with it for the Mountaineers. Leading scorer Quinerly back on the floor for West Virginia. Great dish and a good recovery for Poindexter. A magnetic block leads to the break for the Wildcats. Sundell up for Taylor, who heads to the free throw line.
What a recovery. This looks like an open layup, and Poindexter, 6'2", with that three-point range, says I can bring it on the defensive end as well. What a pickup, the transfer from Tulsa. 2.4 made threes per game, and really helping out that lineup.
She earns foul shots for Taylor. The 3-for-3 start from 3 for Poindexter, and then a big block like that. An impressive beginning here on the road in Morgantown.
This Kansas State team, number 7 in the net rankings. So depending on how this season unfolds, they're sitting solid at a 2 seed right now. I know that it's 3 seed in some prognostications, but they have a chance with the upcoming schedule and with how deep and good the Big 12 tournament will be, that they can move up to that 2 seed. And so much to be determined. Maybe even a 1.
And on the reverse, beautiful for Woodley, who's going to the line for one more.
I think she lost her contact. Got smacked in the face. Oh, right there, I think the follow through with the right hand. Hard to shoot the free throw when you don't have your eyes in.
Could see well enough to say and 1.
That's
knew
right.
that.
You saw it go in the bucket, like,
right.
like all scorers do, right?
Well, Elise, also important, not just because 3 more points up on the board, but Eliza Maupin just got tagged with her second foul. One of the more active post players for the Wildcats off the bench. Stays in there with the 2 personals. And hands for Woodley. So you can see well enough to cross off the steal. And back with the Mountaineers.
Those hands, just lightning quick. You feel like it's just waves of defenders for West Virginia. It's not just Quinerly. Look at this, just poking it away, sides, looking up, looking for where she's going to pass it. The pressure is always there. They're always in your face. It is relentless, and you cannot let your guard down for a second.
West Virginia forced 44 turnovers in a game in November. 2nd in the country. That is unbelievable to even say. They force 20 turnovers a game like it's nobody's business. Double dribble for Quinerly.
I mean, think about the fact 44 turnovers in a 40-minute game. How many possessions did
like
they
were
turn
playing
over?
catch.
Exactly.
3 for Poindexter, her first miss of the game. 3 of 3 start comes to an end. Quinerly so clever with the handle. Got into a congested area. And Harrison drills the 3.
Mountaineers have been quiet from deep for quite some time, but they hit that one, and look out, a 5-point lead for the Mountaineers here on their home floor.
We're part of a 6-0 run that gets Harrison into double digits already. And that's knocked away. A 9th turnover for Kansas State.
Getting into the lane, it bounces out. And it lands into the hand of Jordan Harrison, who says, I'll take it. Any open window that she can get from deep, she can knock it in.
West Virginia led by these 2 players, Harrison and Quinerly. And on back-to-back trips, they show off their offensive game and force a Kansas State timeout.
Yeah, that's Quinerly's money spot. That mid-range game, get in the paint, Mark Kellogg has brought in his 2nd year here with the Mountaineers, is relentless pressure, and the crowd feeds off it, and they play into that, and it helps their defense.
Kansas State has veteran guards. They have experienced players all over the floor. They took that timeout to get them reorganized. Sundell with the step and one.
Sundell has been quiet in this game, and you give credit to that West Virginia defense. This time the footwork. She is a guard that has post moves. She's very comfortable with her back to the basket. And you see on that one just the patience. The crowd asking for a travel. They're not going to get it. It is a three-point completion there for Sundell.
Player that's started over 100 games in her Kansas State career. With deafening noise around her, West Virginia on an 8-0 run stops it with a three-point play. A minute 30 before halftime. And it's been a NASCAR fast pace in Morgantown. Deep in the clock, it's Woodley back to work and snatched away by Watson.
Watson plays such an important role. She's not as aggressive offensively as they would like. They want her to seek out more shots, but she does everything else for this team.
Quinerly splits a double team. Rebound for Walker. Now, there are times where Watson will be watching film and her teammates will be yelling at her, shoot it. And the crowd back into it on a turnover, the 10th of the game for Kansas State.
Some were forced. That one was just getting sped up. And you cannot afford that if you're Kansas State on the road. You have got to value the basketball. 10 turnovers for Kansas State.
And that is 10.
You mentioned that 20 or under was the goal. Well, they're on pace for more than that here with now less than a minute to go until halftime.
Wildcats have not turned it over 20 times at all this year. Harrison tightrope. Shaw, the best three-point shooter. Short on this one. There's Watson again.
She's a ball magnet. It finds her and she finds it.
Thomas before the double team arrives.
What a great spark off the bench from Thomas.
The shot clock is dark. Biggest lead of this first half is 7 for West Virginia. It's 6 right now. Sound surrounding Kansas State in the half court. At the first half horn, Walker can't connect. And a fever pitch in Morgantown into the locker room.
This crowd on their feet. What a half and run. A 12-2 run to take control.
Look what Kaya Watson did too. 11 rebounds in the first half alone, just 2 away from her season high. West Virginia gets it first with Kylie Blackston getting up the first look. And it's out of bounds to the Wildcats.
Well, Blackston can hit that. She's 6'3", veteran, fifth-year senior. She hit 5 of them versus Texas A&M in the win, but hasn't hit one for 6 games in a row. She's due, in other words.
Jalen Glenn, very good outside shooter herself. Can't connect on the first look.
Gosh, and another Watson rebound.
She might go for 20 in this game. Quinerly, the first hit in the second half.
When she's hitting that shot, she's just about unguardable because that quick first step can get by just about any defender.
She was still smiling all the way into the half court playing defense after that make. And got the crowd erupting on the first basket of the second half. Into the post for Taylor, swarmed by Blackston and Watson. And after the Quinerly three.
And a good skip pass, Quinerly open on the weak side. Even the length of Sundell cannot get out there. Yeah, the bench loving it.
That might be why she was smiling. Jordan Thomas playing DJ over there. Putting the fake headphones on.
Quinerly's so electric, and she's also very well liked by her teammates.
Offensive foul on Kennedy Taylor. She can do that too. She's a pest on defense.
Oh, she's an absolute menace. And the way she can navigate screens and get over the top. You try to screen her and she just scoots right by you.
It was hard for Mark Kellogg, the head coach for West Virginia, to pick between Kaya Watson and J.J. Quinerly as his best defender.
They're different type of defenders, and what a blessing for him in his second year to have both of them.
Oh, it's Watson again. There's the season high, 13 rebounds. Second look at it for West Virginia. Kansas State, without their top shot blocker, Aoka Lee, usually holds down the paint and the defensive glass. And that's into the backcourt.
Yeah, that one just slipped out of the hands of Shaw. Couldn't track it down, Watson. I love Watson come and Aoka Lee, 6'6" grad student. Kansas State still playing really well without their star, the preseason Big 12 Player of the Year, due back against Kansas in 5 days. She has been practicing with the Wildcats.
Coming back from a foot injury. Wanted to give her one extra game to get right. Oh, beautiful take, Diana Walker, plus the foul.
The athleticism, screened by Sundell just enough for Walker to get the room, and then she gets over the top of the 6'3" shot blocker.
That's an important player right there. Walker taking some of the stress off Serena Sundell, at least, to handle this West Virginia pressure.
And the screen game is going to be important, and Virginia pressures in the half court is unique, and it takes a while to get used to it.
Walker had a hand in there on Harrison, who recovers and sets up West Virginia in the half court. In the middle of the lane, wide open Watson.
Watson just finding the seam in the defense, going to the open spot. So athletic, just gets right to the bucket.
So Mark Kellogg wants more of. Watson shooting. So influential down here. Serena Sundell, first basket of the second half.
That just seems like it's so easy. Find the layer of that zone, and Sundell hits it.
And they move her all around the floor, averaging 14 points per game and 7 assists. Watson, back-to-back shots. This one won't go, but Thomas has been a menace on the offensive glass.
Well, once again, getting position early. That shot went up, and Thomas, even though she was the one working the offensive glass, she gets the inside position. Look at this, inside position, and so she draws the foul. Normally it's not the offensive player that looks like she's blocking out, but that's what it looked like for Thomas.
That's a few times we've seen that look. And Watson, no. Thomas on another one, and knocked out by Lester.
Oh gosh, Watson is just so athletic. She's only 5'10", but she can get off the floor so quickly. Spent 2 years at South Dakota. Rapid City, South Dakota is where she grew up, and now 3 years here at West Virginia.
It's familiar for basketball fans. That's where Becky Hammond grew up. Head coach of the Las Vegas Aces. Same high school, same hometown.
The hotbed.
Yeah.
Hotbed for hoops.
Well, 2 pretty good ones. 5 on the shot clock. Quinerly, open look. Bags another one.
You got to give her space with the way that she can beat you off the dribble, but you can't give her that much space. Quinerly already 3 made threes in this game.
Quickly a game high, 15 points for Quinerly. She can go 0 to 15 in a hurry. Mid-range, no. Thomas tapped to Sundell, but the coverage coming from behind with Harrison.
You've got numbers. Sundell is back.
Before she can get back into play, Quinerly attacks, and Kansas State survives the 5-on-4.
Yeah, that was a missed opportunity.
Lester did everything she could to keep it in bounds, and a reach from Watson.
Look at the dribble and kick, and then moving the basketball, and it leaves Quinerly open at the top of the key. When you move the ball quickly, good things happen, and for Quinerly, it's another 3-point make.
15 midway through the third quarter for Quinerly after 29 points on her senior night Saturday. Lester, nice turnaround.
Oh, and she said too small.
She sure did. Gave him the spin. She's not wrong.
Utah with Gianna Neepkins, who's hitting 50, 40, 90. It is a gauntlet.
That's how Mark Kellogg put it. Welcome to the gauntlet. That's what.
And then, oh yeah, then you get to have the Big 12 tournament.
Right.
And then the NCAA tournament. It's tournament time already. That is what you're seeing right here. These are two teams that could advance a long way in the NCAA tournament, getting after it.
West Virginia went to Iowa City last year and played close with Caitlin Clark in Iowa in the second round. Kansas State hosted the opening weekend. They're in position to do that again, back in Manhattan.
Yeah, they are. I still think for Kansas State, just obviously frustrated they couldn't get by.
Opportunities to move up that seed line in the next few weeks. Quinerly cannot miss right now.
How good has she been? Her fourth made 3 on 8 attempts. She talked about it after senior day. In her last game, she put up 29 points. She said, my 3-ball, it's just, I'm still looking for it, and she has cashed it today.
Taryn Sides can't connect. Sanchez, second look at it. Sides is scoreless so far for Kansas State after she went for 21 on Saturday. And Sanchez turns it over in the post. Lester fed it into traffic. And that Jordan Harrison.
How did she find the rim? The speed, Quinerly with the 3-point bomb, her 4th make of the game, and then Harrison just weaving her way through multiple gray shirts for the bucket. With just 15 minutes to go, so West Virginia doing what they do, forcing turnovers, 13 Kansas State turnovers, and it's turned into 17 points.
Head coach for Kansas State, Jeff Mitty, took an extra second, lingering around that huddle. Just kind of looking at the floor, looked like he was searching for answers right now. Well, Kansas State can crack West Virginia on their home floor, down 13. Active hands again for Watson. So Sundell's got to work quickly. 8 on the shot clock. Walker had nobody home in the block. Now Sanchez flashes, but Harrison is right on top of it. It is Kansas State ball on the jump.
Just the quick hands, if you expose it with all 5 players, all of them have those quick hands and they'll tie you up, they'll smack it away from you.
Clock ticking. Does Lester see it? She does. And a shot clock violation.
And very nice job for Thomas, their center off the bench. She's played really well with the 9 points, 4 of 6. That time extending out, not fouling, just getting straight up and taking away space.
At least she's negated some of the size advantage that Kansas State has. Bigger at every position in the starting group. And Thomas with the save. Hard closeout. Harrison attacks it. And went a little too hard and tacks on a foul.
I love Harrison. Having the conversation with the official. And that is, it is the line that you walk as a defender.
That's a foul, right?
It's pretty close.
That's a travel. Quinerly and Watson swallow up Sundell.
And it is really tough. Our officials, Jesse Dickerson, Doug Knight, Eric Cruz, when you put this much pressure on the defense, those quick hands, if you blink, you're going to miss whether it's a foul or whether it's ball. It's really difficult.
And we had a split jury right here, so you know it was bang bang. It's 15 turnovers for Kansas State. Usually take great care of the ball, but everybody is vulnerable when you play West Virginia. 18 points and counting for Quinerly. Shaw, contested look. And Sides there on the rebound.
Now West Virginia has this 13-point lead, and Shaw just 3 points today.
Lester, elbow pop. Sides pursues. Second chance for Kansas State, but she's out of bounds. Oh, and slammed the ball down. Got to be careful.
Sides didn't change expression, but slammed that ball down. Our officials coming over to give her a warning. look at her face, it seemed composed, but you can tell she's missed some looks, and she's 0 for 4 today after busting out for those 21 points in the last game. Jeff Mitty will come give her a blow. She's such a dynamic shooter. It's hard when you miss your first 4.
It hasn't just been her, especially in the second half. Kansas State doesn't have a 3 since they went to the locker room.
And this is a team that is extraordinary from deep. But the defense has been better.
Numbers got back for West Virginia. Sundell went anyway and got the bounce. And she wanted a foul. Hands up as she went back.
Yeah, I would say that body language, you are dead on. And I think it's just a sign of frustration, and that West Virginia's defense has leaned on them, and they've gotten after them. They forced turnovers, and for Sundell, when she got into the lane, she wanted an and one.
Yeah, that wasn't a "are you not entertained" signal. Foul in the backcourt on West Virginia again. Watson tagged on this one.
So Sundell getting the pick defensively, sizing up Quinerly, big height advantage, back to the bucket. And you see the hands go up.
So that cuts it to 11 for Kansas State. It's a 3 for Glenn. And they're starting to cut away. Their first 3 of the half.
Oh, and that was absolutely pure. Did not touch any part of the rim. I don't think you could hear that hit the net.
Only thing that saved it was our net mics being right on top of it.
Just a little flutter.
Little splash. It's 5 in a row for K-State. Back to 8. Glenn stayed with it on the discard from Woodley. Single digits on the shot clock. Quinerly wheeling and dealing, and she's got 20.
She just beat a double team because of her quickness. They tried to close that trap, and it's so tough to do with Quinerly. Just moved and maneuvered her way all the way for the mid-range jumper.
11th 20-point game of the year for Quinerly, the 34th of her career. The West Virginia Legends. 3 off, but a foul.
Kansas State, a 40% three-point shooting team. And look at that. Just absolutely pure for Jalen Glenn, the 6'1" senior guard. And that's why this Wildcat team is so dangerous. They have got length for their three-point shooters. 6'1", 6'2", 6'2", they fill it up. Poindexter, another one at 6'2", that has tremendous range.
How hard is that to close out on?
It is. You can't really affect the shot like you can with shorter guards. And so you're coming out there and it's already above your head, and they can get that shot off. And you can get into your shooter motion, and the defense closing out can't affect you. You're going to have a higher percentage.
Poindexter used that size to get to the line on the Harrison foul. Got 2 of 3. West Virginia has led multiple times by 10+ in this half. It's down to 8. Driving kick, 3 for Woodley. Is way strong, but off of Walker. And then Quinerly on the spot.
Kansas State now going more pressure, trapping.
That counts, plus the hit. Another one for Harrison.
Kansas State just can't quite close the trap because of the quickness. Harrison right here beating Poindexter, and then she gets into the lane. So creative, so good, even though she's 5'6". The bigs in the paint do not deter her. This West Virginia backcourt loves contact. They get into the lane, they don't care about getting hit. They want contact to get those free throws.
In its best case scenario for West Virginia, 3 points plus they get to set up their pressure at the free throw line. Sundell almost had it stripped. Quinerly.
A big smile on her face. She knew that Sundell got away with a crossover right in front of her.
That's a couple times now. She is enjoying herself. 20 points for her, a couple of steals. Quinerly has the on-ball defense on Sundell. Running out of time and turns it over on the travel.
And Sundell trying to back down Quinerly and just couldn't get to the spot. Quinerly holding her ground. Sundell looking for the outlet and shuffled the feet. And I really like Sundell's game at 6'2", the senior guard. But she has got sped up today.
Jeff Mitty and Kansas State wanted to keep it under 20 turnovers. They're at 17.
Well, and for Sundell, she just hasn't been able to deliver and play make like normal. Just 3 assists. She averages over 7.
Late in the half court, Quinerly kicks out Watson. Extra one, Harrison. And the shot clock sounds, so 7 to go for Kansas State to get another look.
It's a big possession for Kansas State. And they're going to have to weave through and get through this pressure of West Virginia.
Well, Mark Kellogg over there playing defense on the sideline. His team surrounding Ziana Walker, but a foul call. And free throws will come.
I mean, it is remarkable for Quinerly, the amount of pressure that she has put on. That is her first personal foul.
It is, isn't it? Outside of Watson having the 3 fouls, there's no foul trouble for West Virginia.
And if you can defend like that without fouling, that's the formula to building a double-digit lead against this extremely talented Kansas State team. Their defense has come dialed in today.
One of 2 for Ziana Walker. Harrison looking for a heave. Oh, clock never started. Clock was paused at 2.6 on the free throws and never got moving.
And I believe our official says that's it. Should not, no time go to the 4th quarter. That shot off the mark anyway.
It's a good interior clock from the official. No, it was it was definitely 2.6 seconds, but they will look just to make sure. So it looks like we're headed to the 4th quarter in a 10-point game.
6-3 boneless wings, courtesy of Buffalo Wild Wings. If you're in section 107, row J, congratulations, you're today's Buffalo Wild Wings Lucky Row winners.
Okay, 1 Mississippi.
2. I don't know. She might have got it off. Well, they have applied that pressure, and it has been big for them through the first 3 frames, and that's why they have this double-digit lead. It's their quickness and the way they just seek out the ball. They shoot through the passing lanes. Their active hands, when you try to get into the lane, they're tipping it away, and then they can finish. I love how aggressive the backcourt is. I mean, when you've got Jordan Harrison that can break down a defense off the dribble and J.J. Quinerly, they put the defense on skates.
And that's how we got here to a 10-point game. West Virginia gets it first to start the 4th. What do you think of the nicknames for the press we threw around yesterday with Mark Kellogg, by the way?
I like that. I think what's the one we used at the beginning?
Stress you.
Stress you. I think that's my favorite.
He doesn't want to be known as defense only, so stress also applies on this end.
Absolutely. Kansas State's going to have to find a way through that pressure.
And find a way to stop Quinerly, who has 20 points. That's a good beginning for the Wildcats.
Well, Kansas State is still right in this game. They are a 40% three-point shooting team.
And that was almost the start they needed. Poindexter rimmed it out.
She was 3 of 4 before that miss, and boy, that hit every single part of the rim.
We were talking before coming back, though, right? Can Kansas State come back? And it is a resounding yes because of how they shoot it.
And there's a lot of time.
Offensive fouls. Thomas cleared out space.
Take that foul on Thomas, just being aggressive on the glass.
This is why K-State is still very much in touch in this game. But they only have 1 3 since halftime.
They average just a tick under 9 made threes per game. They've got 5 in this one. But it just takes one going down to feel like that hoop gets big.
Mid-range Walker with the deep 2.
Little by little, if you're Kansas State, one jumper goes down, puts a little pressure on the Mountaineers.
West Virginia led by 6 at halftime, built it to 10 at the end of the third quarter.
And Kansas State is very good defensively, but they have not been able to close this trap when they've extended their pressure.
They're a top 15 defense in the country, Kansas State. 3 for Quinerly, back-to-back misses, and taken away by Watson, who shovels to Woodley.
Huge. Those quick hands by Watson. We talked about what an excellent defender she is. That right there was such a momentum play.
Walker had just hit the jump shot. It looked like Kansas State had their stop. All of a sudden, 2 more back up on the board for the Mountaineers.
It's just frustrating because for Kansas State, they felt like, yeah, they did their job defensively, and then it just gets stripped away. And they're so unique. They're both about 5'6". I know Quinerly's listed at 5'8". I'm not quite sure if she's 5'8", but it doesn't matter because they both play so big.
It's been the speed of West Virginia winning over the size of Kansas State so far. As you've mentioned, at least, the three-point shooting of Kansas State always gives them a chance.
Yeah, but they're going to have to make a move. Huge play by Watson to tip it away and get a layup for her team, and it extends us back to a double-digit West Virginia lead.
Watson has the defense on Sundell, who can't get another touch. Into the post, it's Taylor over the top.
One of the rare times that they've had a bucket on the block. And
Keep in mind, Kansas State doesn't have, you're going to say.
You and I are on the same page.
That would help down there to have Aoka lead too. Jordan Thomas extends it to 10 again. And knocked out with the Wildcats. Now that's 16 points and 6 rebounds a game missing for Kansas State. Aoka Lee also the all-time leading scorer for the Wildcats.
Well, and she has the ability to put up 61 points. I mean, she's a force to be reckoned with.
And was absolutely a crusher against West Virginia last year. Scored 34 points in an overtime win in Manhattan. That is front rim, and Poindexter follows it, heads to the line.
And that's where West Virginia has been really good, against the size and the length. In terms of the rebounds, it's a 1 rebound advantage to Kansas State, that's it. And West Virginia with the lead in the paint, 32 to 24 points in the paint.
And Thomas with a huge influence in that, joining Harrison and Quinerly in double digits. And this has been the star for Kansas State, Poindexter with 16.
Nobody else in double figures for the Wildcats. She needs help.
I'm hoping Sundell or Glenn or Sides can get hot late in this game. Kansas State in a first-place tie with Baylor and TCU. 3 games to go after today. Quinerly, runner, over Sundell.
Oh, that is such a tough shot. So much arch to get that over the top of the defense.
Pressure from Quinerly, foul from Poindexter.
And that is the difference right there. Kansas State couldn't close the trap. Harrison gets it to Quinerly, and then she does the tough part right there over the top of the defense. And then on the other end, West Virginia can force the turnover. It has been all about that Mountaineer defense.
She's built on her game. This summer, Mark Kellogg had her study some of the smaller guards in the WNBA, like Kelsey Mitchell, former Ohio State legend and playing with the Indiana Fever now, on how to score against bigger bodies. That shows up in a big spot here. Drive and kick, Watson 3, book that!
And her team absolutely loving that. Watson has done everything in the stat sheet and now filling it up scoring as well.
Sundell through 2 bodies. Watson can do that too. Offense to defense. Another kick out. Quinerly on the step. Oh, clever.
She's so good off the bounce, so creative. You think you have her hemmed in, and then she's just by you.
3 ball. That won't quiet the crowd. Poindexter with the miss. And a foul against Lester.
A 7-0 run in less than a minute for West Virginia, and they have extended it. And the pressure again, Sundell thinks that she's got a bucket, and Watson says, get it out of here. And then they've got numbers off to the races, and it winds up with Quinerly. Pump fake by you, and getting the bucket in the lane. Look at that hesitation. It's so good. The ball fake, the head fake. You just never know what she's gonna do.
WNBA, you think she'll stick, JJ Quinerly?
I think she's got a chance because she's got such good ball handling skills, and defensively, you need something that's special that will translate to the next level. And if you're a WNBA team and you see her defensive intensity and quickness, you always need to stop her. Now, she's undersized, but the way that she's shooting the three today, if she can shoot up at about 35% with the way that she guards and she can get in the lane and kick, she has definitely got a chance.
3 seconds in the lane was the call against West Virginia. And Quinerly reaches in here. So if she can get more consistent with the outside shot like she has today.
Well, she's so special defensively and as a ball handler. I mean, she had a behind-the-back pass against Baylor that was just absolutely gorgeous. The innate ability with the ball in her hand to create is special.
Takeaway. Shaw ahead to Harrison. You talk about a great handle in space. My goodness.
It was a rocket. How fast was that? Put a timer on Harrison. She just blew everybody out.
And Quinerly with the takeaway. Back-to-back takeaways and scores.
Special here in Morgantown. This crowd on its feet, they are fired up. West Virginia undefeated on their home floor, and they just put the screws on you defensively and make it so tough. Even this electric offense of Kansas State that averages 81 points per game has just not found their rhythm.
Well, just when you think you've hit the peak of the sound in here, fans in West Virginia raise it to another level. 2.5 minutes without a basket for Kansas State. Lester can't stop it. Sundell in pursuit. Got to happen in a hurry. Inside 5 minutes to go for the Wildcats. And that stops the run with Poindexter.
An 11-0 run over 2.5 minutes. To really take command. This is an impressive performance by West Virginia. With the way that...
No losses here this year, and JJ Quinerly with that home crowd backing her, another 20-point game.
Well, what a performance. She put 29 up on senior day, made her dad shed a tear, and here she is continuing it. Just 26 points, 4 made threes for the senior guard for the Mountaineers.
She said, "Oh my Lord, my dad is crying." That was her quote when she turned and looked at her dad on senior day. And Watson grazes the rim out of bounds.
She's really fun to watch. Just an electric guard. Her quickness and ball handling, and she can get to any space that she wants.
And she does have an outside chance of becoming the all-time leading scorer at West Virginia. Averages just under 20 points a game. I want you to hear me out on something in a minute if we get a chance. Kansas State can't hit on a three from Walker. If West Virginia were to play the maximum amount of games, so they go to the Big 12 championship game, then go to the national championship, JJ Quinerly could break the all-time scoring record in the national championship game. She averages 20 per game the rest of the way.
Good stuff.
I mean,
see, look at you doing your math now, Connor.
I failed as your accountant earlier. Had to make up for it.
I like it.
Block from Sundell. 3 minutes to go. Walker in and out. Everything rimming out for Kansas State.
That one deflected out of bounds. But Quinerly, how about 3 coaches in her time here at West Virginia. And what a gift given to Mark Kellogg to have her stay. Quinerly out of Norfolk, Virginia, Lake Taylor High School. And a 5'8", fourth-year senior. It hasn't always been easy, but boy, she is going to go down as one of the all-time best. The Defensive Player of the Year last year in the Big 12 Conference.
Team committed to Mike Carey, who resigned in 2022. John Plitzowite for 1 year, and now 2 years with Mark Kellogg for J.J. Quinerly. Watson's had a career-best rebounding day. Can't add to it. Just over 2 minutes to go. Kansas State down 17. Long pass from Sundell. Three is front rim. Sundell still fighting for it. It slips out of her hands, and away with it comes Quinerly. All 20 games that West Virginia has won this year have been by 10 plus. They just do not play close games when they win.
And I think that's a product of the fact that if their defense affects you, they're going to have big runs. They're going to strip you. They're going to get out and transition. And they were able to do that in this game against Kansas State.
Watson, three ball.
Watson, what a game for her. 15 rebounds, 4 assists. Just 5 points, but she hit the big three ball. She's such a selfless player. Tracking down every rebound that she can get to and the way that she guards. A great pickup from South Dakota 3 years ago for this program.
Prolific defender, seeing the prolific rebounding ability that she has. Another player like Quinerly that stayed through the coaching change a couple years ago. And that trap stops a 1 for 10 drought for Kansas State. Walker up into double digits, joining Poindexter. And West Virginia has shut everybody else down. Harrison misses the layup.
Harrison, so quick.
Back-to-back hits for Walker.
I just think this West Virginia team continues to show that their quickness is something that it's hard to prepare for. It's hard to scout, and sometimes you're not going to see a smaller and faster backcourt in the nation. It's different, and they apply so much pressure, and they did so today against this longer, bigger Kansas State team.
Lester out trying to stay with Quinerly. And the shot clock runs out. Well, at least you think about it in a tournament setting, too. If you have only 1 day of prep, you can't emulate the type of speed you're going to see.
I totally agree. And that's what, for this team, they are a matchup nightmare.
So Kansas State came into the day in a three-way tie for first place. And West Virginia on their way to staying perfect at home.
That's an outstanding performance against an extremely good Kansas State team ranked 12th in the nation, and West Virginia getting a big win.
On the back of J.J. Quinerly's 26 points, West